Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Leaked. And today we're covering all the contents and changes in the upcoming 9.13 patch. So a lot of pictures and stats for today, but if you can turn the video up to 1080p, that would be great. Now 9.13 should arrive around Christmas, so a month from now. 9.12 got delayed by 3 weeks, but 9.13 is not going to be delayed. So all the stuff and contents already out on the super test server. So they could be changed between now and Christmas, but about 80% of the stuff are staying, so that's decent. But here we go. So everybody knows that the 9.13 patch brings the Czechoslovakian medium tank branch because the Škoda T40 was introduced for 9.12. So if you haven't watched my previous videos about the Czechoslovakian medium tanks, click on the pictures right now to watch the previous leak videos about these vehicles and their stats. But my initial opinion about these vehicles are the lower tiers is pretty rough, but once you get to the higher tiers, then these vehicles become viable. So it's pretty rough for tier 1 through 5. But once you get to tier 6, or if you have the free XP to get to tier 6, then these tanks are pretty decent. Since the lower tiers have low horsepower per ton ratio and low DPM without armor, these vehicles tend to be sniping type of medium tanks with high penetration and decent enough view range for their tiers. So these are sniping sort of medium tanks. They're sort of French tanks without the mobility, but trades the mobility for better gun performance. So I guess that's okay. But once you get to tier 6, you have an autoloader with the Škoda T25, so that's pretty good. You have the Constructa T34-100, which is basically a T34-1 for the Czechs, so it's pretty decent. You have the TVP VTU Concept at tier 8, which is basically a Škoda T40, the premium tier 6 at tier 8 with a bigger gun. So, okay. But tier 9 and tier 10 are the tanks that's pretty decent, alright, pretty good. You have the Škoda T50 and the TVP T50-51. So these two tanks have autoloaders with a Russian type of 100mm guns. So it's like a Batchat-esque or a half measure between American and French autoloaders. So yeah, they could potentially replace the Batchat. Could. So yeah, the higher tiers are worth it. The lower tier grinds are pretty rough. So yeah, it's an uphill battle with these vehicles, but yeah, the ending result is pretty decent. So it's okay. It's an okay branch. It's not like the British lightly armored tank destroyers where you have the decent tanks in the middle tiers. And when you get to the FE 4005, it's like, damn, that thing has no camouflage rating and no armor and super slow reload and not a fully traversable turret. Disappointing. Another story for another day. But yeah, that's the main course for the 9.13 patch. But don't underestimate the appetizers, alright, the smaller details. So today we'll cover all the smaller details as well. But click on the links right now to watch the previous leaked videos about these vehicles. And here are the HD pictures of these tanks. And here we have the Kalahazinka at tier 1. So this is a Scooby-Doo mystery van machine. It's a pretty chunky of a tank. Here is the Lek tank, Visor 35, basically the Czech original version of the Panzerkampfwagen 35T. It's a little bit slower than the German counterpart. Same goes for the Lek tank, Visor 38, the Panzerkampfwagen 38T. So these tanks are a little bit slower because not as good engine, I guess. So that sucks. Here is the Stridany tank, Visor 39. It was a prototype designed to replace the Panzer IIs and Panzerkampfwagen 38T, but they favored the Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs. Here is a Škoda T24. It's a prototype, so paper tank, decent enough. Here is the Škoda T25, the Czech version of the premium Škoda T25 for the German. So this has an autoloader. Its start gets a little bit more powerful than the early tiers. Here is the Constructa T34-100. So this is a tier 7 T34-85 with a 100mm gun. So bigger gun with a bigger turret. Here is the TVP VTU Concept Basically a tier 8 Škoda T40, the premium tier 6 Škoda tank. So bigger gun. Here is the Škoda T50. So auto-loading 100mm gun. Very scary. It's like a hybrid between a Russian and a German and a French tank. But finally, we have the Škoda T50-51. So this might be the replacement for the Batchat. Has a 4-round clip, so it's pretty scary. But that's all the Czechoslovakian medium tanks that's coming in the 9.13 patch. Now with the Czechoslovakian medium tanks, we're also getting a Czech-themed map. So it's a destroyed Škoda factory, basically Ensk 2.0. You do have destructible garage/factory doors, but it's like a Havoc-esque engine thing. I guess that's okay. You can blow away the doors to open up new battle areas. But yeah, it's basically Ensk again. It's okay, but we'll take an in-depth look at this map once the test server goes live. But for now, it's an okay-ish map. You do have visually reworked tank tracks on surfaces. That's good. New map, industrial zone. That's the Škoda factory. Remove the Filyard map from random battles. What's that map? I don't remember the names. Remove South Coast map. That sucks. Fix some issues with the visual customization interface in the garage. Nice. And more miscellaneous bug fixes. Not listed for the super test server. Okay, so a bunch of fixes for the maps, but we have one new map for the price of 2 old maps. That sucks. I want more maps. Don't want to play on freaking Ruinberg for like 10 million times. God damn it. And on to the HD remodels of 26 tanks already in the game. So these tanks do need a makeover because the IS-6 looks like 8.0 texture. So yeah, it's pretty rough for the skateboard ramp. It's rough for the KV-5, the T-29, the T-30, the T-54E1. Oh boy. So some of these tanks do need a makeover, and yeah, it's about time. So here are all the HD remodels of these tanks. And let's start off with the AMX AC model 1948. So tier 8 French tank destroyer. Looks very good. Here is the AT-15A. Very nice. Very big mud flaps though. So it's a big vehicle. It's like a mini tortoise. Decent 17-pounder gun. Here is the Birch gun, the tier 4 British artillery. It's annoying. It's super annoying to play against. It's like a FV304 at tier 4. Here is the Comet. Now they do put the Cromwell's turret, so it might be a mistake, but it's okay. I like the Comet, so they might put the better turret on it. Here is the Cruiser Mark 1. I think it's tier 2. I think it's tier 2. It's been a long time since I played it. Here's the Cruiser Mark 2. This is at tier 3 with a derp gun. Yeah, it has a derp gun. You could put this derp gun on the AT2, on the Cromwell. Yep. Here's the Cruiser Mark 4. I think this is tier 4. Yeah. These cruiser tanks are okay-ish, but here is the skateboard ramp, the IS-6. Oh boy, this thing is pretty. Woo-wee! It's basically a skateboard ramp. Yep. Here is the buff KV-3 with a bigger turret, more rounded turret. So, yep. This thing. It's like a potato masher. Here is the KV-5. The HD remodel of this vehicle gets a lot of armor buff for this tank, so it needs it for the R2-D2 turret, the mini turret. Here is the LTP, the premium tier 3 reward for 2 years ago, I believe, or a year ago. No, 2 years ago. It was an anniversary gift. Here's a Panzerkampfwagen 2 looks. It's a pretty tank. It's German engineering, so it's boxy, it's pretty. Here is the M7 Priest. Oh boy. Artillery based on the M3 Lee. Oh, it does look pretty on the inside. Here's the M44. Artillery based on the Bulldog, I believe. Man, there's a lot of details in the gun breech, as you can see. There's so many wiring and stuff. Here is the MS-1, the Tier 1 Russian light tank. A lot of players wanted it for some reason. I think they troll Wargaming into producing a HD remodel, but they get it anyways. Here's the Sentinel AC-1. Now, I'll make a leak video about this vehicle, but this vehicle was introduced a long time ago with the T-54E2, so I'll make the leak video about it. Don't worry. Here's the Su-18, the Tier 2 Russian artillery. Never played it. Here's the Su-152, the big old derp gun. Wow, the red star is prominent. Looks very nice. Awesome. The good old Super Gopher, the T-29 with the bunny ears, or the gopher ears. I love this vehicle, one of the most OP Tier 7 heavy tanks. Actually, one of the OP Tier 7 heavy tanks. The T-30, yep. It was a Tier 10 American tank destroyer until it got nerfed into Tier 9. Here's a T-54E1, one of the most OP Tier 9 medium tanks. And a lot of Unicums spam gold in this vehicle. Bastards. The Type 95 Hago. So, Japanese tanks without armor. It's a small tank. Oh, yeah, okay. The Type 98 Kini, the Tier 3, I believe. The Hago is Tier 2? I don't remember. Small Japanese tanks. The Type 97 Chiha. Chinese overtook the Japanese tanks, so this is one of them. But, okay. The WZ-111, the premium Tier 8 Chinese heavy tank. I don't know if this vehicle gets an HD buff from the remodel, but they should, like an IS-6. And finally, we have the WZ-131, the Tier 7 Chinese light tank. Very reliable light tank. Ask of a medium too. So, you have the Dushka. That's always good. And there you go, folks. All the HD remodels of the tanks coming in 9.13. And finally, we have the rebalance of the following vehicles. So a bunch of tanks got buffed, so that's great. Looks like a bunch of Russian tanks, American tanks, some French, German, and Chinese tanks are getting buffed. So, awesome sauce. But here we go. So the Russians get more penetration for the Tier 8s. Very nice. Than the 175mm. So, 8 more millimeters of penetration. I guess you can penetrate T-29s from the front a little bit more reliably. That's good. That's fine. The T-44-100, the non-released premium Tier 8 Russian medium tank, gets a little bit buffed. So to compete against the T-54 prototype. Wow, the T-54 prototype is getting buffed. It has the terrain resistance and engine buff from this patch, the 9.12, right? But it's getting a penetration buff. So that's good. Nice. Alright, Object 430 gets HP buff, gets module buff. So the module HP gets buffed. Very nice. The Su-100M1 gets buffed to the penetration of the 100mm because it's basically the Tier 8 medium tanks gun. So, good. Ooh, the Su-101 gets the return of the 122mm. So this is basically the IS-4's gun, or SDI, or IS-8, or T-10. But yeah, it was too OP of a gun on the Tier 8 Russian tank destroyer, and they removed it. But now it's returning with different stats. So they tweaked the DPM or reload. So, ooh boy, I don't know, but it was an OP gun. The Su-122-54 gets unknown buff. It's likely for the 122mm, the same gun that's returning to the Su-101. The KV-4 gets more health and a better reload and better aim time. Nice. The T-10 gets better traverse with terrain resistance buff. Hull traverse gets buffed. Accuracy buffed from moving. Buffed. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. And here are all the new stats for the 122mm that's returning to the Su-101. So it fires AP, high explosive anti-tank, and high explosive. It's the IS-4's gun, or STI, or IS-8. So penetration is pretty decent for a tier 8 tank destroyer, 258. Damage is above average, 440, but it's still not as good as the ISU, so decent enough. Rate of fire is about 6 rounds per minute with the gun rammer. DPM is pretty decent, 2,300, so about 2,600 with the gun rammer. Fair, very decent. Reloads every 11.5 seconds. Accuracy is 0.35. Russian, but okay, workable. Aim time is a little bit long, 2.9 seconds. And gun depression is 2.2 degrees. So no gun depression, but this gun was OP on the SU-101. So it was removed, but returning now. So, interesting enough. This gun, oh boy. You can take a look at the accuracy or something right here. But I cannot read Russian, so oh boy. But here is the armor buff to the HD remodel of the IS-6. So as you can see, the frontal plate for the driver hatch gets buffed to almost 200 millimeters. One. This is no longer a weak spot. What the frick? You do have less frontal armor on the beak, next to the beak, alright? But lower plate is thicker now, effectively. And the cheeks of the frontal upper plate is stronger. Nice. The turret is a little bit more rounded than the original turret, but it's less armor, so it's fair. It's fine. It's fine. You have a thicker mantlet, and the cupola is slightly weaker, but you're supposed to shoot at the cupola or the driver hatch, but holy crap, the driver hatch gets buffed? What? You have a thicker mantlet too, because there's armor behind it now. What? Side armor gets buffed on the turret a little bit, as well as on the hull. A little bit, but not that much. Okay. Holy crap, the skateboard ramps. It's awesome. Here's the KV-5. Oh boy. The cupola gets buffed for this one right here. I think this is the commander cupola. Might be the commander cupola. The cheeks is pretty much the same. The mantlet is slightly weaker, but the cheeks on the turret is thicker by 20 effective. The R2-D2 turret, the mini turret, gets buffed, so annoying pesky E25s could not penetrate this thing reliably now. So nice. The driver hatch buffed. Okay. Upper plate buffed. Beak armor buffed. Holy crap, this thing might be reliable now. So nice. Side armor is the same. Side of the turret is buffed. Whoa. Whoa. And rear of the hull is also buffed. So no more 90 millimeters on the engine deck. 140 now. Wow. You have less armor on the bottom of the plate, but it's okay. And 180 at the back of the turret. Holy crap. Hallelujah. KV-5s, players, rejoice. Because this buff was needed for a long time. Oh boy. And here are all the buffs to the German tanks. So the VK3002D, this is the tier 7 German medium tank before the Leopard prototype. Gets terrain resistance buff, as well as hull traverse, so good. The Leopard prototype gets a DPM buff, aim time buff, nice, accuracy buff, turret HP buff, so more HP, better traverse rate too, better suspension with accuracy from turning and moving. Very nice buff to the Leopard prototype. What? The Ferdinand gets 300 more hit points to a tier 8 heavy tank standard of HP. Holy crap. The Elephant is getting chunky. What? It gets a DPM buff too with 128 millimeter. What is this thing? The Yak Tiger gets a 300 hit points buff. What? The Yak Panzer E100 has 2,200 hit points. This is 100 hit points less. Can I get 2,400 hit points on the Yak Panzer E100? I would be so happy. Holy crap, these vehicles are getting chunky. Oh, it's scary now, scary. The Tiger 2 gets better accuracy with 105 millimeters. So, yeah. Ooh, 0.31 accuracy for the Top Gun. Ooh, oh, please. So delicious. Oh my god, these are awesome. I love German tanks. So, best accuracy in the game. I actually love all tanks, but holy crap, the HP buff. The Americans have better penetration for tier 8 medium tanks. So, that's good. At least 181 millimeters. Very good buff. Yeah, the T69 needs it. Yeah, the autoloader. The Persian gets a buff. Nice. The M46 Patton gets a buff while grinding towards the 105 millimeter. So, nice. The M48 Patton. I've been waiting for this buff for a long time. The M48 Patton is so underpowered at tier 10. It's not loved by a lot of players. So, yeah, it does need a buff. Better accuracy from traverse, better reload, better aim time. Thank you. Give it better mobility. I'll be happy. But geez, thank you. Small things, alright? Just small things change a lot. Alright? Thank God. The T28, more health. Like a Ferdinand. It doesn't get DPM buff, but it doesn't need it. So, very nice. Very, very nice. Engine module gets more HP, so harder to get damage. T28 prototype does not get the HP buff, but has a better engine now too. The Doom Turtle has more hit points, but not as much as the Yak Tiger, so 1,800. It's fair. But compared to the Yak Tiger, holy crap, the engine gets buffed too, so okay. The T32 has a buff, but it's listed, but it's not known, so unknown buff to the T32, but that vehicle does not need it. Buff the penetration. Buff the penetration of the 105mm to 220. I'll be super happy. That would be OP. That would be an OP tier 8 heavy tank. No, don't buff it. Just kidding. Here are the French buffs. So the ARL V39, the tier 6 tank destroyer gets terrain resistance buff. Alright. And better aim time. Thank God for this 90mm aim time, because 2.6 seconds was ridiculous. So it can use 105mm too, right? But that vehicle's 105mm has crappy gun arc and aim time. So it's better to use the 90mm, I believe. The tier 7 French heavy tank, the AMX M4 model 1945, has more hit points. That's good. Wait, this is a tier 7 French heavy tank. It suffers from French heavy tanks' lack of health, but now it has the same health as a Black Prince. Hanawa? Hanawa? Okay. Chunky French tanks now. Holy crap. AMX 12T, better terrain resistance, better accuracy while shooting on the move and traverse. Good. And better accuracy for the 75mm. Okay, good. Same goes for the AMX 1375. Good. Nice. The Lorraine 40T gets a buff to aim time for 2 guns. Oh, very good. Yeah, it takes too long for the 100mm and the 90mm. The Bat Chat gets the same buff, but it's not for the 105mm. So that sucks. But if you're stock on the Bat Chat, then the grind towards the 105mm is a little bit better, I guess. Okay. And Chinese have a buff to the light tanks and medium tanks at tier 7 and tier 8. So the WZ-131 gets a buff to terrain resistance, better accuracy for the guns, and better reload on the Top Gun and aim time. I love this tank. Awesome. The WZ-132 gets a buff to the reload. Good. T-34-2, better gun depression with the Derpy 122mm. 5 degrees now instead of 3. Thank you. Aim time is buffed. Thank you. And 100mm gets buffed with the aim time. This tank needs love. It's like one of the most underpowered tier 8 medium tanks there is. So it's still used 122, a little bit better than the T-44, the Russian counterpart. But why does the T34-2 and the T34-3 does not work in comparison to the WZ120 is because the lack of penetration of the 122. The WZ120 has crappy gun depression, true, has about the same crappy aim time and accuracy as the T34-2 and T34-3, but what's good about the WZ120 is the penetration, whereas the T34-2 and T34-3 has only 175 millimeters of penetration, where they're derpy guns. The WZ120 has 248, so but yeah, 5 degrees of gun depression is a lot compared to 3 degrees, so that's very good. Same goes for the T34-3, nice. The 121 gets better terrain resistance and better gun depression by 0.5 degrees and better accuracy while turning. Good. The WZ111 Model 1-4 gets better accuracy from shooting on the move and traverse. So, nice. And finally, we have the 131 gets better terrain resistance, good, better accuracy while moving and traversing. There is a nerf to the gun's accuracy, but you have better gun depression by 1 more degree and better reload, but aim time and accuracy gets a little nerf. So, okay, you have better DPM, I guess. And the Tier 7 Shiri gets a buff to the ammo rack with more health, and more health for the modules like the turret rotating mechanism, basically the turret ring, the optics, the suspensions. Good, more reliable, so it doesn't get like knocked out with the turret and stuff. But there are all the buffs to the tanks already in the game, so yeah, very good penetration buffs for Tier 8 medium tanks and crazy HP buff to the Ferdinand and the Yak Tiger and the T28. Why does the Yak Tiger have only 100 less health than the Yak Panzer E100? I cannot understand what's going on. What? Can I get 2,400 health on the Yak Panzer E100? Please? It's basically 100 health less than the E100. That would be insane. And there you go, folks. All the stuff that's coming in 9.13. And that did not even cover all the bug fixes and small stuff. So, holy crap. Vehicle change, HD model, the Czechoslovakian medium tanks, the buffs to the Ferdinand, the Yak Tiger, the Tier 8 medium tanks, the Leopard prototype, the M48 Patton. Whoa. It's awesome. It's pretty. It's so beautiful. Oh my god. The Ferdinand has 1,500 health. Freaking elephant. Holy crap. But yeah, awesome patch. I love it. I already love it. If you can add like one more map to the lineup, then it's a perfect patch. One more map or one more game type mode or something. But yeah, holy crap. It's a good patch. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.